Hi, I'm James Vescovi, and I'm the author of the book Eat Now, Talk Later. My father was a great raconteur, great storyteller, and he traveled all over the world and came back with amazing stories. But a lot of the stories that he had in his repertoire were those from his childhood, growing up with his parents, and Italian immigrant parents in Hell's Kitchen, a rough Italian-Irish neighborhood in New York. As a kid, I was fascinated with those stories, and I started to memorize them on my own. And gradually, as I grew older and developed a relationship with my grandparents, I started to get my own stories about these people, because they were very, very eccentric and did a lot of funny things. The focus is really my grandparents, who were medieval-minded people from very simple farming community where the land and the rules and life hadn't changed for them for hundreds of years. Well, my grandfather was born in 1899, grew up in the northern Apennine Mountains. The first time he ever got away was when he went off to fight in World War I. And he was eventually captured, and the Italian government took so long in getting him repatriated that he decided he was going to leave this country. My grandmother, she was born in 1900, and not far from where he grew up. They knew each other. They courted on a bicycle. He put her on the handlebars and drove her around. They got married. Within a few weeks after the marriage, they were pregnant. My grandmother was pregnant on the ship that came over to the United States. When you bring those people to the United States, they've gone through a time tunnel, okay? And what you had were people of a medieval mindset suddenly caught in the modern world. There was no way that you could ever write a standard biography of Tony and Desolina Vescovi. She knitted pom-poms, he laid terrazzo floors, they barely spoke English, and there was a lot that they didn't understand, a lot that they misinterpreted. So I had to find a non-traditional way to create a biography. And I decided the way to do that was through collecting these stories to really paint a picture of who they were, how they acted, and how they saw the world. We all have these people who are behind the times, elderly people who don't understand how the modern world works. They're caught behind, they can't catch up, it's too complex, they don't know what to do with a computer. My grandparents hardly knew what to do with a telephone. You know, we can all see ourselves in those stories because we're all afraid of change and technology to some extent. And so I think that gives this collection a real universality. I think the beauty of these stories is that they're all very short for the most part, and they're all very easy to read. You can sit down for 5 minutes and read a couple of them. I think people who love to read are definitely going to feast off of these stories. But even that guy in your family who, you know, I don't like reading. You can hand him a book and say, read this story. You got to read it. And he's going to get something out of it. And the next time you go looking for the book, it's going to be on his night table. Rifamo